Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We have Flash against Dewalt, the rematch. They played this game right after that other game that we just saw in the previous day. I hope you guys tuned into that. A perfect example of why the metagame has changed. It was just what we saw from Flash. It was too greedy. And like, listen, Flash is the best. He's the smartest. I think he will figure out how to do mostly what he wants to do. But there's not a way to fix the level of greed he was doing against what Dewalt was doing. It's not like... Okay, so for instance, here, let's put it this way. If Flash had centralized his entire defense on the hill on Polypoid, he would not have died to that attack. But that means that he's not taking that fourth command center he made. Okay? So, like, the speed with which he's doing everything against a well-executed, greedy play from Protoss is not going to work in that way. That was the greediest that we've seen from Flash. He was reading the greed from Dewalt as well, so there's something to say about that, right? Like, he definitely had a good idea of what was going on. It's just you're not going to get to the numbers where you can take a fourth at that speed. You know, you're gonna get rolled over. So... Yeah. Still looking forward to seeing how Flash is going to adjust, right? We saw another game on Citadel, which we're on now, where Flash went for Upgrade Terran, but went for Factory, third base, okay? That one was one of my favorite games so far from Flash. I talked about that quite a bit, and we kind of went over the replay. And, yeah, like something like that seems... much more realistic because it actually, you have enough units that like you could make something happen. Whereas what Flash did that last game, you literally have no move outs. There's none. There's nothing. It's like you're sitting in your base, you're both playing single player, and unfortunately, in single player, Protoss gets higher scores. That's just the way it is. So, anyways, this is cross spawn Nexus first. So Dewalt's the greatest gamer in the world, clearly. We'll see how Flash deals with that. Now, you know, I'm making a little bit of a joke for anyone who watches me play in my stream. This is the hardest thing to play against in the whole game is cross spawn Nexus first, especially if it's a greedy Nexus first, and this is. See that? This is. He sees that coming out of the center, so he knows that Flash is bottom right and did an end scout. So yeah, this is the hardest thing to play against, but Gaseous Expand plays against it okay. Now, this is not the super greedy Gaseous Expand. You can see it was a double depot Gaseous Expand, so it's a little bit slower than the other version that we saw Flash use in the previous game. But still, this plays against this reasonably well. Now, Dewalt is going to be up in workers for sure. He is going to have like maybe a small edge, but for instance, if this was a factory expand from Flash, I would be like, okay, he's pretty well behind. We'll see what he does to try to come back. Is it going to be a fast third? Is it going to be a fast attack or a fast drop, right? It would basically have to be one of those. In this particular one, you're like, okay, yeah, they're a little bit quicker on the expand. It's okay. We can play it and just try to catch up. Ooh, misclick. Look at that. 4 idle probes. That is very bad news. He has got to figure that out. He's only up 2 probes, so, like, he's losing economy. Oh, okay, 3 idle probes now. What is going on here, man? He'll see it, because he's... Yeah, okay, I just saw these start to mine. So, it looks like he's got it mostly right. Just... Well, no, just 1. Holy crap. Kind of a big deal. Flash is attacking across the map with 4 Marines, because I guess the best player in the world can do that. He does have this bunker. He has a factory on the way. And he's going to get a probe right there, trying to go for another one. And the Zealot is actually chasing this Marine. So the probes have to come and help. He's going to be able to pick one off. So overall, this little trade we saw was better for Flash. Like, losing some Marines here, you would love to be able to pump Marines and cause lost mining time and kill some probes. Very, very good. So Flash back here, he does have to make a few Marines to put into that bunker at this point. This Marine's going to come back as well. 1 factory, armory. And yeah, it looks like he's going to go towards that upgrade Terran. He is starting his secondary gas. Zealot sees that. So Dewalt now knows, and he can throw down, you know, seeing this second gas. Now, this is a different situation This could technically, because it's a gasless expansion here, and he saw that it was Nexus first, like he could go into 4 factories pretty quickly with this, but that's still very, very, very fast for that. So anyways, Dewalt does start his 3rd Nexus. So I think that's a great choice for him, especially considering we can see the armory. Now, the Academy coming up with that. So yeah, Flash is basically doing standard upgrade Terran type stuff right now. Dewalt just going to sit outside this choke. His range has like barely started here. You know, he's not actually going to put on any pressure. He's being very, very greedy back at home. I don't know if he's going to be 4th Nexus greedy or not. That was pretty crazy. He's going up to Observer, and like if he goes in and sees a 3rd command center, he'll definitely go 4th Nexus. You have to do that. 2nd add-on here for Flash. Still getting siege mode. His Academy's done, so going to throw down those comsats. Surprised he's not working on the eggs. It's like an excellent time to work on eggs right now. Bunch of probes being transferred here from Dewalt. He is starting to get ahead on those workers slightly because of those comsats being added. And there's that Reaver tech. So this is a very familiar position, right? Nexus first into 2 gate obs into 3 base Reaver. And what he'll do is he'll add 4 gates here. Okay, so this is like a very familiar, normal position that we're used to. If he adds more than 4 gates, it just means that he wants to stay on 3 base and really maybe get aggressive or crush a push he thinks is coming, something like that. In the meantime, Flash is going to factory, 3rd command center, before 7 minutes. So guys, he's still playing incredibly greedy, and you can see he's setting up to take this. I actually like this as the 3rd. For a while, I was taking this as a 3rd, and a lot of Terrans were. I feel like it just suddenly shifted that everyone figured out this is oftentimes a better 3rd, even though it's a mineral base. Like, honestly, you don't need your 3rd gas that quickly in this matchup. It's not like TVT. Like, taking a 3rd mineral and then just take, you know, because it gets you a better position and then taking the gas is actually very comfortable in this matchup. A lot of maps are designed like that, actually. So, starport on the way. The Observer flies in, and he sees 3rd Command Center. He sees its upgrade Terran with the starport. This was a perfect Observer. He'll make this Nexus. He'll make one more. Watch. He's going to go make another Nexus. It's like there's just no attack that can come in. It's Goliaths and Siege Tanks. There's no reason in the world why you would want to sit on 4 base. Throws down Forge and Citadel. So yeah, going to continue to get those upgrades going. Loads up his Reaver. He does have shuttle speed on the way. And there is that 4th Nexus. But again, we should see a 5th Nexus. There you go. Probe going down. And getting ready for that. Okay, now what we need to see from Flash this game, because remember, these 2 games are in a row. And we saw what happened to him previously. He needs a factory explosion, is my opinion here. If he's going to make this work, he needs a factory explosion, and he needs to nail a 2-1 timing attack. From Dewalt's side, what I want to see is the 5th Nexus. Oh, wow, he sent that probe down and didn't make it? Oh, he's just scouting around with it. This is weird. Huh. I'm not sure about that. Like, I feel like if you see only 2 factories at that point, the Nexus is free. The 5th Nexus is free. So I'm a little bit surprised he's not going for that 5th Nexus. Loses a few goons in here. He's going to kill, like, well, I guess actually he's just going to walk up and kill everything. The sacrifice of the shuttle with Reaver brought a lot of units back, so Dewalt clears all the tanks up here. The 3rd base getting slowed down. So now it makes more sense why he hasn't started the 5th base. He wanted consistent, constant unit production because he was planning the dive-in and the attack on the front. So that was actually, that's a totally fine thing. What I was analyzing before, if he hadn't done that, if he had just sat back, it would have been completely correct. And in fact, a mistake not to take that 5th Nexus. But I think that this is completely fine. And I think he will make a 5th Nexus now. Like, he's definitely scouting the map a lot with a probe, which is totally cool. Scouting's always good. Especially as you get later in the game, it gets more and more important to consistently keep stuff out there. But yeah, you know, he reduces the tank count a bit. The overall trade there, I don't feel like was as good for Dewalt as he was hoping. Flash feels, I think, Flash's position to me feels pretty comfortable. He is down on workers a little bit, so that's an issue. He doesn't have many factories, that's an issue. He does have 2-1 on the way, almost halfway done. Dewalt loading up, and he's just added a lot of gates on the 4 base, so he's being very slow about taking that 5th. Looks like he is finally getting ready for it, though. A lot of scans going down there from Flash. Oops. Yeah, checks both those bases. Sees that there's like some photon cannons there, so you can't run up with a single Vulture and ruin his economy. No speed yet anyways for Flash. Hasn't even started it. Just getting mines right now. Speed Reaver coming out. Yeah, he's looking for like a sneaky, cheeky little scarab shot there. Doesn't really work out, but good to look for it. Makes a forward bunker. Very, very defensive stance here for Flash. And I want to see if is he going to do that factory explosion, or is he going to start his 4th CC, right? Because the 4th CC is where he went wrong on Polypoid. The 4th CC was just like, okay, well, we can't actually even take the 4th quickly. So here he is doing the big factory ads, right? He was on 4 factories on Polypoid when he made that 4th command center. Here you see he's gone up to 7 factories. 7 factories is comfortable to get up to max on. Like, it's not meant for we macro on this all game. Like, you actually want, like, if you can get 4 base plus, you want like 11 factories if you can fit them. But yeah, 7 factories is like a very comfortable, I'm going to take a 4th base amount of factories. Like, that's pretty standard. In fact, that goes to Terran versus Terran as well. 7 factories is like, that is the perfect amount to be able to upgrade and just produce consistently on 3 base. Okay, so the 5th Nexus is coming up. Of course, as I always mention, the 5th Nexus poses a big question to Terran. Are you going to expand or are you going to attack? And you can see that he actually is going to expand, right? So he's been scanning around a lot. He's figuring out what's going on. He starts this additional Nexus. He makes it in a location that's actually very hard to scout. I don't think Dewalt knows that this is here, so he's not going to be 100% sure, is this an attack or is this an expand? It is an expand. He's not going to attack. Flash probably won't attack until 3-2 at this point, is my guess. A lot of probes being transferred over. He's got 66, very healthy. Double shuttle diving into this main base. And yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how much this will end up doing. It's like kind of annoying. Oh, this was the real drop, but he actually doesn't get much. Flash pulls those SCVs super fast. You can see they took a bunch of damage, but he only lost like 2 SCVs to this Archon. So double pronged there from Dewalt. But 54 SCVs, we're still good as Flash. He definitely does want to bring that number up into the mid-60s like Dewalt has it. But totally fine. And the Reaver going to continue to be a little bit annoying here as well. You know, one thing I've noticed from Flash's play that he's not really doing as much that most modern Terrans are doing. Every modern Terran, you watch a light game, a rush game, a JYJ game, a scan game, whatever, there'll be just mines kind of everywhere in the main base. And we don't see that as much from Flash. He's like putting down the turrets and then trusting that you're not going to drop or something. So I feel like he's just not cleaning up the drops as quickly as maybe he should. Now the 4th command center going to land. 6th base on the way. Honestly, the mining difference between 5 and 6 bases is not that high for Protoss. Obviously, it's a little bit better, but like 4 base against 5 base is, I would say, is slightly favored to Terran, but you can't really attack. And then 6 base versus 4 base is like close to even, right? Maybe slightly advantage Protoss. Anyways, 4 shuttles bombing in right now. Going to try to unload on top of these sea chinks. There's so many vultures in here. It's totally not working. The goons are trying to clear these mines. And yeah, that was like a perfect defense. And you can see like Dewalt has a bigger bank. He lost a lot of stuff. He was not efficient there whatsoever. He killed almost 0. But he has the economy to be able to do that and not have the game lost at that point, right? He's pulling back now, getting into a different position. He's definitely got to think about where he wants to go from here. Kadarian Amulet, double shuttles at a time, lots of High Templars. These are all really good choices from him. But, you know, Flash right now is going up to 3-2, like we talked about, right? He's adding factories. So we had the original 7. He's going to 9. And if he can add a couple more, he'll probably try to squeeze them in. But 9 is a very good, very healthy number. For a long time, people just sat on 8 facts. But if you can add a couple more, I think it's, I'm quite sure that it's good. Once you have 4 base up, that is, of course. So, Flash, getting good mining. Over 60 workers, over 60 here for Dewalt. Dewalt expanding the bottom left. This is a very good play. This is a very good play. to take this base down here. And in fact, we have another drop coming down. So looks like the SCVs all get out. Like he lost like 3 SCVs here. So it's not that impactful. A good move from Dewalt, though. I think doing this is very, very smart, right? Like he keeps producing the High Templars. You don't need that much gas to play this style. So you can sacrifice High Templars a lot. It was very surprising to me when this became a popular way to play, because High Templars weren't generally considered that good against Terran. Like obviously good, but nowadays it's like, okay, that's actually the scariest unit they have other than Carrier. But like it would just be like, oh, it's hard to hit the storms on the tanks because they have such good range or whatever, right? But yeah, it was surprising me that you can just sack High Templars all game long, because really Goons and Zealots cost very little gas. So you have all, like, Protoss don't even take all their geysers. Like in this particular game, Dewalt's taken a lot, and he'll probably sacrifice more High Templars because of that. Now this Vulture rotation, hold on, we have so much going on. Beautiful storms there. Beautiful storms. Bring them down to 50 probes, or 50 SCVs rather. But a lot of probes were killed up here as well, and the Vultures get the Nexus. So we see a little bit of trading going on. And in fact, somehow during all this craziness, oh my god, Flash. Oh no, Freudian slip. Flash has rotated his Vultures to the bottom left. And he's going to be able to pick off this Nexus as well. So this is huge. He picks off both the mains with Vultures. Not what I would be expecting here. Loving this play out of Flash. Dewalt suddenly is in a really bad position. Okay, they're like, Dewalt's bank isn't quite as high as it was, and their supplies are about even. Their workers are about even. Dewalt needs another base. You can't play like this, 5 base against 4 base. Like I said, if it's 5 base versus 4 base, I feel like that Terran is a bit of an advantage, but you can't necessarily just attack. Right? Like you have to be really careful about that. Dude, these storms forever. Storms forever. 42 workers left over. Some great harassment there. Now, Dewalt only has kind of a small army down here. So if this gets trapped, that could be an issue. Okay, Flash going to attack up towards the rally point. This is generally how you end up winning a TVP, is you get on top of the rally point so they can't rotate their units around. But that allows Dewalt to bring his army from the top right and his army from the bottom left and do something. And it looks like this army's going to try to get in here. There's 2 tanks plus mines. I don't think this army's going to fare well. This one might, though. Starts to move up. It's got this kind of high ground position. In the meantime, Flash over here in the top left. There's a lot of shuttles. Dewalt pulling back. Man, this is an insane game right now, but it looks like Flash is just being a bit too cost efficient. Attacking into Dewalt's base here. He's killed this base, he's gonna kill this base, and he's stopping rotations from these gateways. He might push the main, but I'd be surprised. I think from here you just go down and kill this base. And if this one's being made, you kill that. And you're good, and you're happy. It looks like Flash did end up... I guess he just straight lost that command center. So this attack did do well. But, of course, this attack that was over here, like I mentioned, look at this, 10 kills on those 2 tanks. It looks like that got cleaned up pretty quickly. Now Flash is actually going after the production. This is a rare call to make, but I guess he feels like he can do everything. He's killing this Nexus. He's killing the production. This set of 2 games is, for learning purposes, for understanding purposes, this is one of the best set of 2 games that I have ever casted. I'm very, very, very happy about this set of 2 games. The Dewalt game that was put up the day previous to this, and now this game. It is... I've got, like, kind of chills here. There's one thing that I feel like Dewalt should have done different. Okay, let's take a look, okay? This is the important thing. Because if you think of that Polypoid game, okay? So on the Polypoid game, he was going upgrade Terran 2-fact with a sub 7-minute command center. And we see the exact same with a gasless expand, okay? Now he's playing against a cross-spawn Nexus first. Just remember that, right? So that's like gives Dewalt a little bit better economy, and you can see that reflected in the worker count. Okay, but the important thing was here, and I already talked about it some in the game, but I want to go over it a little bit again. And there was a secondary thing where I'm like, okay, he should take a 5th, right? Because he takes the 4th. His observer got in over here. Remember, his observer got in over here. He sees low factory count. He saw the command center being made. He sees its upgrade Terran. So it's like you insta Nexus, right? You go Nexus. Flash starts to set this up. Now this is the moment that I think that Dewalt could have done something slightly better, in my opinion. Now, I don't have anything particularly wrong with the concept of diving in with a shuttle, trying to get some damage, because like if you get a bunch of kills with the Reaver or something, you get some damage here, it's amazing. And then he also hits the front. Okay, so see, this is the pullback. This is actually probably a little bit too much. He probably could have left 2 more tanks out here. But as he pulls this army back to deal with Dewalt, and this is Dewalt's plan, right? He's forcing units to come back with the Reaver. And then, you know, he's hitting the front with the goons. And this is a little bit sloppy, like he could have done it a bit better, but he has more coming. So he actually clears these tanks. Right, so that was the concept. Now, instead of this, there was basically 2 options for Dewalt. There was this move where he dives in and hits the front. Or there was make your 5th Nexus, here or here, probably. Okay, I'm a fan of make the 5th Nexus because your opponent can't attack forever. And 5 base against 3 base Terran is a winning Protoss position. Here, you might be able to get a winning Protoss position. But 3 base upgrade Terran against 4 base Protoss, I would call that even. Okay? Whereas 5 base against 3 base is Protoss favored. So I feel like he could have maybe, and the thing is, everyone kind of has, it's not like we have computers like in chess that look at this and say, okay, this is actually winning by like 5% or something. But these are my thoughts, my intuitions on it, and I'm pretty confident in them. So I feel like Dewalt should have taken a 5th here, but this isn't a bad move. I think this is a fine move that he did. And in fact, if all these goons had been together when they hit, and he micros a bit better, you know, who knows? Maybe he gets even more damage, and maybe this turns into a better winning position than 5 Nexus does. Okay? Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to point out here. And here, let me show the second. This is the other big difference. Right, so far it looks very much like the Polypoi game. Right? And here it is. Right there. Okay. On the Polypoi game, he was on 4 factory upgrade Terran with 3 base, and he started the 4th command center. And he had lost that just before against Dewalt. Okay? Here, he goes to 7 factories. 7 factories. So when he starts his 4th command center, by the time the 4th command center is done, he'll have enough supply to take the 4th. This was the big change that Flash made in between games that allowed him to win. This right here. And this is very much like, if you look back at that other Citadel game where I was talking about how he went 4 factory before a command center, we see him pulling back. He's like, okay, I want to do upgrade Terran, but how do we make it work? And the answer is starting to become very obvious that you can go for the upgrade Terran, but you slow at least the 4th base down a bit and add more factories. Huge differences with small differences. Wow, that's really not well said. Anyways, I feel like this was a great situation to explain all this and talk about what these different positions actually are, what they're actually looking like, and all that. I'm getting chills right now while I talk about this, because this was like, even for me, like I love to explain it and try to fill people in with what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about, but like, even just for me, as I turn this off, I'm going to write a bunch of this down, because I feel like this is I feel like this has clarified a lot of my thinking. You know what I mean? And that's sometimes the best feeling in the whole world. Love it. Great games. Congrats to Dewalt putting up some really good games against Flash. He's really worked for it. Some wonderful play. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.